Greetings, one and all. A bit of preamble about this video. I've been aware of the Shure SM7B for some time, mostly on people I watch online. And being interested in microphones, I noticed it had a certain sound. I think before I've said it was kind of a bit like a SM58. Did have an experience with it at a college, but lots was going on and it wasn't. I didn't really gain much from that. However, a colleague of mine, Angela Luzzi, or Angela Rino, as I like to call her, has one, and I arranged to go around to her place with the Earthworks Ethos and the IconPro, both of which you'll notice have the foam grill on, because that the SM7B does, so I thought I'd make them all similar. The Ethos comes with a foam grill, but I use the IconPro grill without the foam. But I've got the foam grill for this, and I've got a spare foam which I put on the IconPro as well, to try and, in terms of pops and just whatever the foam does. Looking at them as being really as podcast mics. So that was the opportunity. A few things I'd like to mention then. On the SM7B, we're using the FetHead cloud lifter. I don't think it's called a cloud. It's a cloud lifter. I think cloud lifter might be a trademark or something. But it's FetHead, which plugs in, phantom powered, and boosts the gain. And as you'll see in the video, the gain is much the same across all these mics. So the desk was set pretty much identically across. It lifted enough to compete with these, which are quite high output. I've got a subsequent video on that little bit where I experiment with the FetHead. That's to come later. One thing I would suggest when I was going through editing is that maybe you'll need to listen a few times, because when I first did it, I almost couldn't hear any difference between the various mics. I was thinking, something have I got, wasn't pressing the right mute buttons or something. But as I listened, editing a few times, it became very obvious the difference between them. So maybe you'll need to use that, or maybe it also says there isn't that much difference. See what you think. There's only 3 mics, and it's pretty obvious which one the SM7B is, but I haven't identified the IconPro or the Ethos, and I'll do that at the end, so that it keeps your mind free of preconceptions, perhaps. Something I thought was interesting as well is that after Angela had been through various things, reciting various things, I thought I'll use my voice across them as well. And I immediately noticed the difference that a male voice makes, because obviously the male voice has got the upper frequencies, but it's got obviously a lot more low, depending on the voices, of course. There's some females and males and blah, blah, blah. But generally speaking, for me, it was quite striking there. It was quite different immediately when I listened back to my own speaking through the mics. And obviously the different aspects of the mics were, the voices showed up, the different aspects of the mics, as you can imagine. So the low end being missing from the female, perhaps. That's about it. At the end of the video, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the SM7B. But that's it for this part. What we're doing here, folks, is I'm on the camera mic at the moment, the audio on the camera mic. So I've set up these 3 mics, which is Angela's SM7B with a cloud lifter, which I might do a separate video on if we have time to see the difference it makes. But certainly it's brought on the desk the levels up on the trim to equal these 2 Earthworks mics. So we've got the SM7B, we've got an Earthworks Ethos, and we've got an Earthworks IconPro. I won't tell you which is which. And I'm just going to get Angela to say some things. I'm not going to prompt him, as I have done in the past, because I think sometimes I put ideas in people's heads. So with this one, Angela's just going to go back between them, say some things, and then I'll ask her some questions about what she hears, what she prefers, etc., etc. So that's just coming up in a moment. There was something I wanted to say. Yeah. Okay, so what Angela's just going to do whatever she wants to do across the microphones and just see. She doesn't know which is which. Well, she knows which the SM7B is, which is hers. I'm going to be using the mute buttons over there so that only one mic is on at any one time. So when she moves across, I'll mute that one and then unmute whichever one she's moved across to. That's all.
I'll start by reciting something then. La nebbia agli orticolli, piovigginando sale, e sotto il maestrale urla e biancheggia il mar. Ma per le vie del borgo, dal ribollir dei tini, va l'aspro odor dei vini, l'anime a rallegrar. La nebbia agli orticolli, piovigginando sale, e sotto il maestrale urla e biancheggia il mar. Ma per le vie del borgo, dal ribollir dei tini, va l'aspro odor dei vini, l'anime a rallegrar. La nebbia agli orticolli, piovigginando sale, e sotto il maestrale urla e biancheggia il mar. Ma per le vie del borgo, dal ribollir dei tini, va l'aspro odor dei vini, l'anime a rallegrar.
Is there anything you notice straight off? Probably not, because you're busy. So if I were to ask you then, because we're probably going to use this, I'm sure they can hear my voice reflected back, even though you've got soundproofing. If you were...
Maybe we could do a word with an S.
Go back through, yeah, something with S's. I'll go back to...
Va l'aspro odor dei vini. Va l'aspro odor dei vini. Va l'aspro odor dei vini. Yeah, it's like it seems the S is brighter here. Again. Va l'aspro odor dei vini. L'anime a rallegrar. Le anime a rallegrar. Le anime a rallegrar. Here I can hear more than like my mouth.
What about if you were to do something quite, you're obviously not going to be as low as I am, but say you were doing a voiceover for something and it was, you're going to be an Italian mama. Quite close to it.
Gira su per ceppi accesi. Gira su per ceppi accesi. Gira su per ceppi accesi. Yeah, and this is, I think this is warmer than that, but this still gets more detail. Like the...
So if we were going to do a podcast, shall we start with this one?
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask you some questions. Is it all right to ask you questions about your Italian thing?
Yeah.
You don't have to say
exactly
what it is.
Okay.
So Angela Digno, I believe you're going to, you might be going all over the place to tell me something about the types of singers you have in that you're anticipating.
This summer?
Yeah.
So I am going to go on tour north of Europe, and the singers are going to be all sorts of ages and experiences.
Have you done much of this kind of thing before?
No, I haven't. It's a new experience for me, and combining travelling and work.
And will you get to visit your hometown while you're over there?
No, sadly not. I will be going just to Venice and then from there to Slovenia.
I'm going to cut bits out, obviously. I know I've got an idea from there. I mean, there's not a lot of difference, but there are some subtle differences. Did you notice?
Yeah, I don't know how to describe, actually.
Oh, I know something you could do. They all suffer from this a bit, which is bound to happen. But maybe you could have something, a lot of p, 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 p.
Oh, yeah.
P, f, p, f. Lots of f and p.
F, p. So we could say, gira sui ceppi accesi, farfalle, farfalle volando. Girano sui ceppi accesi, farfalle volando. Girano sui ceppi accesi, farfalle volando. She's not part of the poem, by the way, but it's something with an F. Farfalle.
Sorry.
Farfalle. But this has definitely got more more air through. Farfalle. Farfalle.
Tell you what I noticed. Hopefully this is coming across on the. It will do. Be quiet. I can raise it a bit. What I'm noticing, listening, is that that one's kind of a bit more old school, and it's got a nice warmth to it. A little bit soggy, maybe. This one just seems to be a bit firmer to me, and this one seems a little bit light and a bit more on that, as you were saying.
The clap clap.
Leaving that a bit more, and for me, I don't think enough low end. But maybe just one more through, and then I'll go through them, and then we're done. I think that's enough.
Yeah.
So back on the 7B, as soon as I can figure out what's what. One more time, then you're done.
Okay, we're going to do something in English now. Pretty women wonder where my secrets lies. I'm not cute or built to sustain a fashion model size, but when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size, but when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size, but when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies.
Grazie. So if I could ask you to we'll swap places, I'm going to go down on my
knees. Yeah, so there I am. I'm just I'm going to say, I know I said I wouldn't, but I'm going to say what I noticed immediately. So, yeah, it's nice. I noticed a little bit of that at the top there, and a good bit of that, the warmth there, which seems a little bit cozy. But, you know, so the owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money, wrapped up in a £5 note. The owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat. So what I noticed there immediately is this seems to be more even. There's not those bits poking through. And there, that bit to me feels a bit firmer, hasn't got the sort of bit of a bloom going on. The owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money, wrapped up in a £5 note. Coming on to this one now. Notice a bit more of that, and maybe a bit of something there, and maybe not. The low bit's not there for me. The owl, all got different voices, of course. The owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money, wrapped up in a £5 note. I think that'll do us. Grazie.
Prego.
Well, my thoughts on the SM7B, having had a good hands-on experience and voice-on experience with it. Visually, for me, I find it a bit large. I'm wondering why it's so large. And a little bit clumsy in 2023. All that, why is it so large? I mean, is it mostly empty space? I'm wondering. And that yoke thing, and the way that thing clips on the back with that cable that sticks out around the side, I'm just wondering, what's that about? But it occurred to me that might well have come mainly from the radio days. So maybe it looked that way because when people got it, they thought, yeah, but it wasn't meant to be seen on camera. That's what I'm thinking. And it became popular and people kept using it. And I've seen some even bigger mics that people use on camera. It's like having a crane and scaffolding all around you. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm wondering, in 2023, maybe they could bring out a svelte version. £333. Seems a lot for the performance to me. In fact, you know what? I'm thinking the SE Electronics V7 in a shock mount, added foam if needed. I don't know. Anyway, I guess it's a classic, and people will pay for classics, so seems a lot for the performance. Sound-wise, to me, I've said this before from the experience of listening to it online, and this confirmed it a bit, is that the top end up there is a bit SM58-like, but not quite as spiky. Somebody said that it's the same capsule. I've got no idea. The bass, I'll say it's okay. It's a bit soggy, really. And everything else just a little bit cloudy. In other words, it sounds like an old school dynamic, which it is. But as I've said many times, I think the even older Biodynamic M88 is better to my ears. It's more extended. Has got a push at the top as well, but it seems to be finer. So yeah, it just seems like a sort of nice, big old, slightly soggy. But having said that, having said that, I was looking at, I'm into photography as well and lenses, and I was looking at some review of an old school lens, of which I've got several. So I'm not knocking the old school. And this person said, yeah, it's not as bitingly sharp as modern lenses. It's not this, and the colours aren't as, it doesn't jump out at you. But he said produces a very comfortable image. And actually, even before I had this chance to play with the SM7B, I thought, yeah, it's comfortable. So maybe you don't need all that stuff. I like all the other stuff, and I can make it more comfortable if I need in post or with EQ maybe, whatever. But yes, it's a comfortable sound. That's what I thought, listening a lot online. I thought, yeah, it's not objectionable. It's not objectionable. What I'd say then, summing up, is that the performance is adequate, but the thing's a bit big and a bit expensive. Those are my thoughts. See what you think.